everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to another video tutorial at Mrs. Lincoln's Inkin. Today I wanted to show you this adorable little gift bag that you can make with just 2 pieces of 12 by 12 DSP. You can put some tissue paper in it and it is identical to the kind of gift bag that you buy at the store, except it's handmade. How cute! So let's go ahead and get started. First, what you're going to need is 2 identical pieces of 12 by 12 DSP, and I'm using the Twitter-pated DSP today. And we need to do some scoring, so let's go ahead and grab our scoreboard. Okay. Now we're going to be doing the exact same scoring on each piece of paper. So what we need to do is on 3 sides of our DSP, we need to score at 3 inches. And then on the 4th side of our DSP, we need to score at 2. So on our first side at 3, turn it. Our second side at 3. Our third side at 3. And then our 4th side at 2. And now we need to do the same thing to our second piece. So our first side at 3, second side at 3, third side at 3, and then 4th side at 2. There we go. So now, let's see. There we go. All right, now we're done with our scoreboard, so I'm going to put that away. Now, on one of our pieces of our DSP, on our 3-inch side that is adjacent to our 2-inch side, we need to cut out those 2 squares right down there at the bottom, leaving only this middle section. So let's go ahead and cut that out. And sometimes using DSP, the score lines get hard to see. So try flipping your DSP over and the lines might be able to, or might be showing up better on the other side. DSP is really pretty, but when it comes to scoring, it's not my best of friends. Okay, and now let's cut out the second square. And I like to cut my score line all the way at the edge of the score line because then it gives it a little bit more folding room. Some people go back and cut extra slits or, you know, do their own little trick. But for me, I find that if you just cut right at the outer edge of your score line, it works really well for me. So now on our second piece of DSP, on the same end, the 3-inch side that's adjacent to the 2-inch side, we want to come in and score only to our score line. So we're going to score this line right here and this line right here, just to the score mark. So flip it over and cut just to that score mark. So it gives us 2 little flaps. There we go. Okay, so now we need to reinforce all of our score lines. Every flap, every side. There we go. Now the second sheet. Okay, Now, after you're done reinforcing all of those, what you want to do is you want to take whatever side you want your flap to be, and you need to fold that on your 2-inch side over the other direction. So I want this to be my outside of my bag, so I'm going to flip that 2-inch right there over. And then I'm going to do it on this side too. There we go. Okay, so now what we need to do is take a piece of cardstock, and this is just normal cardstock. I'm happening to be using the crumb cake, and this is cut at 3 by 6, and this is what's going to be used for the bottom of our bag. So it doesn't matter really what it looks like. No one's going to see it anyway. Now on the piece of cardstock where you have your 2 squares cut out, it sounds weird, but you actually want to put it right here on the front part of your bag. So if this is where you want your front to be, that's where you need to stick your crumb cake or your cardstock. So I'm going to take my Tumbo glue, and I'm just going to glue this all up. Maybe, if it comes off or comes out. Wipe it off, see if that helps. There we go. And put a good amount on. You can never use too much Tumbo glue, in my opinion. Okay, got a little bit right there, so just going to wipe that off real quick. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this right here on our 12 by 12, or what used to be our 12 by 12, I should say. And we're just going to hold that on there. Flatten it out. Perfect. Okay, so now what you want to do is we're going to assemble our bag. So you can kind of see how it comes together. We're going to put this piece of cardstock down here in our bag. So again, I'm going to take the Tumbo glue, and I'm going to put some more on the other side here. Sheesh. Having issues with this glue today. There we go. And then we're just going to put this together. Just like that. And I actually, yep, I was dripping. I thought I was dripping. Maybe there is such a thing as too much Tumbo glue, hey? Just wipe that off real quick. Okay. Once that's together, what you want to do is, this is how our box is going to come together. The outside flaps are going to go over the flaps. So the bigger flaps are going outside. So what we want to do is we want to put snail right here on these squares. And I would probably use red sticky, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to use my trusty snail. And then we're just going to fold that over like that. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just put some snail. And then fold it over and try and get it as flush as you can. And there we go. Perfect. Now we're just going to tuck one flap into the other flap, just like that. So we're going to put some snail or red sticky on one here. Get it nice and glued. And then we're just going to take it and fold it over. Again, trying to get it as flush as possible. take this down, move that out of the way, and do the same thing on this side. That's another reason why it's always very, very important to reinforce all of your score lines when you're doing bags and boxes, because it just makes them fold that much easier. I got a crinkle in there. There we go. Perfect. And there's our little bag. So I would go ahead and take my bone folder and go all the way around on those sides, making sure that everything is nice and stuck. Perfect. So now, to make your handles, you just want to take a normal hole punch, and I always just kind of eyeball it. I don't have an exact measurement, so I'd say probably, you know, wherever you want them to be, I would just put them on down there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, that's why it's homemade. It's not supposed to be perfect. And then just kind of come over here. And what I like to try and do is try and, you know, kind of memorize where I put them on my, you know, DSP. Especially if you have a piece like this where it kind of has lines. That always helps me out too. And then we'll go right there. Alright, so there's that so far. So now I'm just going to take some of my ribbon, and I'm using the Midnight Muse ribbon, and you're just going to take off a chunk, a long chunk. And then we're just going to zip it through. I like to do it from the front to the back. And then we're going to tie a knot. Here, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move you up. There you go. So we're going to put it in from the front to the inside, and then we're just going to tie like a double or even a triple knot, depending on how thick your ribbon is, because we don't want it to come out of that hole punch. So I'm going to do 3, just because 3 sounds like a good number to me. There we go. And then pull it through. And so it shouldn't come through. And then we're going to do the same thing with this side, except when we do this side, we're going to get our handle the size that we want it. And then we're just going to cut. And I normally cut the width of the bag, because then I know I have plenty of room to tie my knot, and I can always cut off the extra. So again, I'm just going to put 3 knots on this side. And 1 more. Sorry, my hand's kind of in the way, but I'm just tying knots. There we go. And then pull it through. And then there's your gift bag. And I would do the exact same thing on this side. And then when you're done, you have 2 handles and a super cute gift bag. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video tutorial. Until next time, happy inking!